see what we can do about this. Okay, so I'm over here, but for some reason, the screen orientation is being weird, so depending on how this looks on my laptop is going to depend on whether we do this vertical or horizontal like I've been doing it for the past several years. It's the YouTube app. It's finding a new way to really make me miserable. Okay. Well, I guess we're doing this now. Wow, so the artfulness of past Killbot live streams has been compromised now. Damn. What else can go wrong? Anyway, welcome to another Killbot and Gore Attack live stream. This is a rather strange one as we are now in vertical mode, which is completely unlike anything I ever do on the channel. So, yeah, this really isn't my doing. It's more because the YouTube app decided that it wanted to be a fuck ass. Anyway. I'm seeing Peep Knox, Megan Raquel, Dante. How you doing, man? How you doing? Let's see, Janae, good morning. My God, Tony, you're trapped in a box. Yeah. Where's Gwen Stefani when you need her, though? Yep, so, as you can see from the title, this is the Month of Hell live stream, as the past month and a half to 2 months for me have been absolute misery and pain and suffering. Most of which I will trauma dump on all of you guys, but I'll try to do it in a non-cathartic and humorous way, so that way none of you guys leave this thing feeling, odd. May Credible. Hi, this sure is a tiny bit off-putting, but a stream is a stream. Yes, May Credible. I agree. I agree 100%. But it wasn't really my doing. It wasn't really my doing. I tried my best to change the orientation, and I guess it was just some new thing that YouTube decided to try out against everybody's will. Nobody wanted this! You know, kind of like most children. See, most of you people watching, your parents never wanted you. But, of course, you know, they got the positive test back, and then they said, well, fuck, we gotta deal with this. Anyway, so, how about we start off with a joke? What do you call a belt made of fish? Anyone? A waste of good seafood. Well, this is a bit off-putting for me because I see so much headroom over on my end, but I'm also not really able to see the, well, like, the rule is you're supposed to see the lens at eye level, and it's not really at eye level with me, so, and it still isn't. Okay. Thanks, YouTube! You really fucked my butt this time. Dumb bitch. David Duncan, hey, how you doing? Just Kira, 156. Your hair looks awesome in metal. Thank you. Thank you so much. I had someone at the oil change place the other day say that I had nice hair. That was really cool. My goodness. Come on, YouTube. Why you gotta do me like that? That was stupid. Enable flash, mute microphone. You know what option it doesn't have? To change it to long ways. My goodness. I wonder if it's different on the iPad. I don't know. My iPad doesn't really have any service. Kylie Vance, a tear just fell down my cheek. Well, it's all uphill from there, bud. Qual42, how you doing, man? YouTube is mean. Yes, it is. It is very cunty. Speaking of cunty, how many of you saw my new video on anal cunt? Well, technically, it's more about their deceased singer named Seth Putnam. The video is called Visiting Seth Putnam's Grave is Gay. Now, this is the literal interpretation of gay, okay? Not like how they used to say it in the 90s when somebody didn't like something. Oh, that's so gay. No. That's how Anal Cunt wrote half of their songs. They would say things like, if you don't like the Village People, you're gay. Recycling is gay. The internet is gay. Pottery is gay. Saying the word homophobic is gay. And even all our fans are gay. So this was my way of modernizing it slightly and making it literal, okay? Non-PC NPCs. Killbot, I'm taking my non-metalhead girlfriend to see Guar next week. She's never heard or listened to Guar, so how should I prepare her? Get her to listen to Scumdogs of the Universe and Bloody Pit of Horror, and tell her to wear a white shirt. Megan Raquel, saw and liked the video. Well, that's good. Screenplay Gore. As a lesbian, I laughed really hard at the video. See, I'm a straight guy, okay? So some people were asking me if I was gay or if this was my coming out video, but no. I just pulled a Dom DeLuise. Remember Dom DeLuise at the end of Blazing Saddles? Where he's the film director. Dun, 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 dun. Throw out your hands, stick out your tush, hands on your hips, give them a push. You'll be surprised you're doing the French mistake. Voila! All right, cut. Wrong book. Dom DeLuise outgayed everybody in the whole movie. So this is me, a straight guy, just outgaying the entire metal YouTube community. It's from just doing something stupid. Okay, so there were two versions of this video, okay? For each scene that I shot with the biker vest and the biker hat, I also shot a scene without the biker vest and biker hat, okay? Because I didn't know what was going to be usable, and I wanted to have safety takes, and, you know, the original idea was that when I got to the grave itself, that it was going to turn me insanely gay, because, you know, visiting Seth Putnam's grave is gay. So it was going to start off normal, then about 20 or 30 seconds into it was going to turn unbelievably gay. But no, that's not really what happened. But I'll tell you something else. That shirt that I was wearing in the video, that was a Boston University Pride shirt that was actually loaned to me. And the shirt that I was going to wear for the video was going to be this one right here. Death metal with the rainbow. You know, just to be ironic, you know. But the shirt didn't arrive in time, and the Pride shirt ended up showing up. Well, which it may have worked out better in the grand scheme of things. Make credible. I mean, this shows you're comfortable with your own sexuality, and as long as it pisses off the homophobes, I'm in. Well, it did piss off a homophobe before the video was even shot. See, I did an Instagram story where I was talking about waiting for the sun to go behind the clouds so that way I could shoot, because it was just beaming light down and it was ruining my takes. And guy saw my shirt and he was like, "Oh, what's with the Pride shirt?" Well, it's, you know, I'm shooting a video about visiting Seth Putnam's grave being gay. "Oh, well, you know, I was wondering if you're a full-on Pride supporter because, you know, ever since COVID, it's been like a religion. It's shoved in everybody's faces, blah, 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 blah. You know, I don't care about other people's homosexuality, but why does it have to be pushed on everybody?" It's like, well, yes, I am a full-on supporter, for those who don't know. Yes, absolutely. I've been around gay and trans and lesbian people my entire life, and I continue to be around them. Blissfully. I've been to gay bars and gay clubs, and I don't care. You know, most of the time I go with them. Well, actually, all the time I go with them. So it's one of those things where, I mean, he felt the need to even respond to that story in that fashion. And I'm like, okay. At some point, it's like, okay, if you have nothing nice to say, then maybe you should just be quiet. But also, like, is shoving it in your faces. Okay, I remember during the W administration, it was shoved in our faces. You know, the whole rhetoric of, oh, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, and the Bible says this, and the Bible says that. You know what? The more people said that, the more it pushed me in the opposite direction. And like I said, I'm straight. So, you know, if somebody like me can see issues with this, then there you go. David Duncan, love the shirt, Killbot. Thank you so much. This is the Guar Bar shirt. They had a great design. If you're ever in the Richmond area, go check out Guar Bar. They make an amazing burger. They also make an amazing barbecue sandwich. Really cool stuff. Okay. I guess I can point this down a little bit. Yeah, I'm really sorry for everybody who's watching the live stream like this. It's annoying and frustrating for me too, but naturally it wouldn't be a Killbot stream without some sort of technical difficulty. And it wouldn't be a technical difficulty if... It wouldn't be my life typically if something didn't go wrong every 5 minutes. It's like I said, the past month has been absolutely horrible. But, Nylon Python, approaching strangers to talk about a shirt seems like he would be shoving his agenda in your face. I agree. He said, I had to unsubscribe from a bunch of pages and businesses because they were talking about pride and LGBT stuff so much. And when I saw your story, I was like, oh no, not my favorite YouTuber. Oh really? Really? Okay. Jamie Splendid, I find it funny when homophobes say, why they gotta throw it in our faces? NTRPK, tired of straightness being pushed in my face. Okay. Grim Reviews, how come you don't like Slam? There are a couple bands I listen to, it's just not really my thing. Partisan Mold 567, where'd you buy the Mentor CD? All the Mentor CDs I bought, I got off of Discogs. And they were about $25 a piece, so... But I only own 2 of them. I've been waiting for Rock Bible for a while, and I just haven't really been able to find one for a reasonable price. And you know what? The thing about the Mentors is I have to be in the mood for them, and I'm only in the mood for them every once in a while, so there you go. But, yeah, so the Seth Putnam video. So, yeah, while I was shooting that video, so the part where I was at the grave posing, like, with the limp wrist. I had the vest on, had the hat on, had the limp wrist. And in between taking that picture, a family, a woman, man, and their kid were walking past in that part of the cemetery. And just out of politeness, I waved and said hello. Well, they didn't respond, and not only did they not respond, they did their best to keep walking and not make eye contact. You see, shooting a Killbot video in public always leads to hilarity. Or the aftermath of Killbot videos usually leads to hilarity as well. I remember the aftermath of the Black Metal ASMR video. Shot one of the scenes for that, and I had the face paint on. And I went out to eat at a restaurant after that scene was over. And the waitress who opened the door for me, she saw me and she was like, like she didn't know if she was going to get robbed or what. But everybody in the restaurant looked at me like, I love fucking with people. I really do. Underscore, hey Killbot, do you like doom metal? Well, first of all, I don't know if you saw my message on Patreon, but thank you so much for subscribing. Naturally your name is under the description of all my videos now. But yes, I do like doom metal, and I am going to be coming up with a doom metal song pretty soon. It's called Limerence, and it's gonna have time signature changes and everything, so yeah, that's going to be nice. Just a slow type of doom metal with nice textured guitars with cool effects going on. Dysphoria Software. People seeing you record that video is like ignoring the creepy uncle at a family gathering. Pretty much. Okay, so I got a Mountain Dew in the freezer, so let me go get that right quick. And we can get the party started! Alright! So the expression goes, dew from the mountain tastes best from the fountain, but I didn't have access to the fountain about 2 hours ago, so this is as good as we got. So good. So let me tell you a little story. Starting in late July, I was going to Goth Night, and before I went to a wing place over in Durham. It's called Heavenly Buffaloes. It's really good stuff. And I was the only person in the restaurant dining in. So it was just me, the cooks behind the kitchen door, and the bartender. Well, naturally, the music in that place is like a sports bar, so the music's real loud, and they usually play real shitty music. Well, they had the Red Hot Chili Peppers playing, and I fucking hate the Chili Peppers. So, I was sitting here listening to it, trying to enjoy my food, and finally, the bartender says, "You know, I'm going to change the music. I don't like this music." And I just blurted out, "Play some Gwar!" And she was like, "No." Well, she didn't play Gwar, but she started playing The Cure. As soon as A Forest came on, my mood improved. It's like, okay, well, I can't have Gwar, but I got something else that's pretty awesome. So, instantly, she became much more attractive to my eyes. And I told her about the Goth Night that was happening later that evening. They were probably going to play some Cure. And she was like, "Oh, well, I don't really like going out that much." It's like, okay, cool. So yeah, there's a little video on Instagram of me just going, with some waffle fries. So that was a nice, good little restaurant experience. In fact, I gave her an extra tip just for that. Very cool. Very cool. And later that night, I had a major issue in that I was stranded in Raleigh for about 6 hours. Oh boy. My truck has been having some major issues in the past month and a half, which the truck has been a constant source of stress in my life for a lot of reasons. And hey, speaking of which, Martine's in here. Hey Martine, we're getting ready to talk about you. But yeah, so coming back from Goth Night, it's about 2 in the morning. I'm on the highway. And yeah, the truck's lights were dim. The headlights were dim. The fucking truck wasn't accelerating like it was supposed to. And eventually I just stopped on the side of the highway and cut it off, thinking that maybe it would like cut itself back on in a few minutes if I redid it. No, it just died on me. So naturally that means that something electrical was going on. Well, I'd called my friend in Raleigh who had AAA, and they were kind enough to drive out to meet me there. And of course, if somebody who's got a AAA card, they have to be there when the tow truck shows up, just to show that they're a member. Well, we waited for hours on the side of a highway next to exit 271, 291, whichever one it was. And we had called every 30 minutes just to get an update on the tow truck. Now, this was a Saturday night at like 3 in the morning. And it was stressful. It was dangerous. I was fucking tired on a dangerous level. And I just wanted to get home. It was an hour to my house from where I was. So we called every 30 minutes, and it was so frustrating. And by about 5:30, we both said, "Fuck this." So we just went back to their house and tried to sleep, more like rested our eyes for about an hour. Finally, AAA called, and we had to go back out there, and at 8:30 was when I finally got a tow home. Yeah, so I replaced the battery, thought that fixed it. It didn't. Then I replaced the alternator, thought that fixed it. It didn't. And I don't know what else is going on. It's got to be like a blown fuse or a power draw somewhere, but I got to take it in. Because at some point, like, I can do things myself to try to fix a vehicle. Like, if I look enough on YouTube, I can find solutions and troubleshooting methods and all that stuff. But at some point, you just got to bring it into somebody and have them look at it. Because I just want it fixed, man. Fuck. See, the thing about older vehicles, when they're really old, there's a reason that you don't see them on the road very much anymore, okay? Because they end up being beat up pieces of shit. You know? Like, even when you crash them, they crash worse than newer cars. And I'll get to that in a few minutes, but it's like, man, that sucks. That was just a horrible night. Okay, so we're looking at the timeline. I got stranded at 2:30. That's when my truck cut off. 8:30 was when I finally got a tow home. So that was a 6-hour wait in the middle of the night. That was horrible. Horrible, horrible. It felt like a nightmare that wasn't going to end. Kind of like my life. Anyway, let me get back to these comments. We got a super chat, 25 Canadian dollars from Dan the Man. You demand, Dan the Man. Since it's been a bad few weeks for you, man, here's some money for Mountain Dew and pizza. It's Friday night, go treat yourself. Also, your content is amazing. Jewel cases for life. Jewel cases for life, man. Easily replaceable. And yeah, very nice. Fox fur, Homer moment. That's good, that's bad, that's good. Can I go now? I was watching some Simpsons earlier. I was watching the one about when he was in the B Sharps. The barbershop quartet. Combat 97. I went to Goodwill and got a KMFDM. Sorry. That was very rude of me, wasn't it? Got a KMFDM CD and an original Land of Rape and Honey CD. Well, that's lovely. Which KMFDM was it? Hopefully it was one of the 90s ones. David Duncan, do you miss your truck, Killbot? Sorry about her dying on you. I mean, she's still here. Just a constant pain in my ass. I need a divorce is what I need. God. A friend of mine actually told me recently about how he leases vehicles now because he got so tired of surprise shit popping up with his old cars, and now he just leases new vehicles. Like, the way he figures it, a vehicle will lose its value pretty much the moment you drive it off the lot. So a vehicle isn't like a house where it retains its value and even grows in value. A vehicle is only going to go down in value. So he says, well, fuck it. If it's going to go down in value anyway and I'm not going to be able to get much out of it by the time I sell it, I may as well just lease it, have nice cars, and not have to pay for the major repairs. The only downside is there are mileage limits, so he can't do any long vacations. And as me and him were talking, I was like, well, you know, that does kind of pay for itself also, if all you have to do is fly somewhere and then rent a car. So, you know. NTRPK, wife got us tickets to see Cradle of Filth in Cincinnati. I got to see them in Durham on the Cryptoriana tour, I think. It was back in 2018. It's a really good show. Martine says, Osiris says hello. Aw, Osiris, squeaky kitty. Let's see. Jamie Splendid. Hey, Killbot, how do you feel about Skinny Puppy's Chainsaw EP? I have the sticker for that EP on one of my CD towers. Very awesome. Non-PC NPCs. Have you considered upgrading to a newer truck? Well, the thing is, every time I save money to upgrade to something newer, it goes back into fixing that. It's a money pit, and it never ends. But anyway. Rip 426. Is that a sit and stand desk? No, this is actually a... It's just like a little piece of wood and PVC pipe that was made for one of my record speakers that I'm just using for this right now because that... Typically, if we were doing horizontal, you wouldn't even see it. It would just be off to the side somewhere, but hey, we're in a tighter, more confined space at the moment. So there you go. Loisa Smith, can I tell you a secret? I think you're really cute. Hope that's okay. Rocking hair, by the way. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much. McNoodles, got to see Megadeth next month with my grandpa's weed friend and weed cousin. Sounds like somebody's going to get high as hell on the day of the show. Okay, you went to go see Ruckzuck. Wait, so you got Ruckzuck at the thing. Vic Eddie, Killbot, I love you, my family loves you, and the few friends I have all love you. Turn us on to some killer music. Well, that's good. That's good, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. And you can show your love by A, watching the new video, and checking out the song that I uploaded on Bandcamp, and it's now on Spotify and Apple Music and all sorts of other streaming platforms. I also got shirts you can buy from my spread shop, you can buy from Amazon, you can buy from Etsy, you can buy from Bandcamp, or you can buy directly from me on social media. If you happen to have PayPal, just send me a message. I'll calculate the prices for you. And actually, I get paid a little more that way. I also got patches and stickers. Stickers are $2 a piece. Patches are $6.66. Free shipping anywhere in the world. And I'm trying to get a new shirt design together. The person that I commissioned to have a new shirt design for me, I hadn't heard from since June. So I'm going to have to find somebody else who can do a shirt design for me. So I want something good. I'm thinking about contacting the person who did Thrash TV's shirt, the Murder the Monarchy shirt. I love that shirt design. So I'm thinking about maybe contacting them about having them do something for me. So we'll see what happens. Like, I gotta get the truck fixed first. And then I can, invest a little bit. Okay, so Mitt Noodles, you want to get the merch, but you're broke as hell. Friend, $6.66. That's not even a cheeseburger. Free shipping anywhere in the world. Your friends will like you. They'll think you're really cool. Aman98. As someone who works at Goodwill, it's unbelievably rare to find metal CDs there. I went to Goodwill once and I found some Dead Kennedy CDs there. It's pretty nice. Shizazzle, what's up, man? May Christ be with it. Grim Reviews. I added your song to the last video in my playlist. That's good. That's very good. But yeah, got stranded in Raleigh, and let's see, a few days later, I got in a pretty bad car wreck. It wasn't even the truck. It was my grandparents' car, who let me drive it because the truck was having issues. And for those who are curious about the car wreck, you can see pictures of it on the channel's Facebook page. You can also see it on my Instagram page. It was the day that Paul Rubens died. So I posted a picture of Paul Rubens, and if you scroll past that picture, you can see the wreckage. Okay, so here's what happened. Okay, I had just uploaded and published the Concert Stories Volume 4 video. Okay. That video was published, I think, at 11 o'clock that morning. 12 minutes later, I had a pizza next to me. I had a Mountain Dew next to me. I was 7 minutes away from home. I was getting ready to go home and celebrate the new upload, as I typically do. Well, I get on the road, and about 30, 40 feet in front of me, there's a car in front of me. And she was texting while she was driving. So she went over the yellow line. And when she went over the yellow line, she hit a truck that had a trailer attached to it. And the car went on to hit a tree. And by the time I register what was happening, the truck, because it got hit, swerved into my lane and hit me. And by the time I register what was going on, it was too late. I mean, it all happened in the span of 3 seconds. Like, I heard a sound. I was like, psh, wait a minute, somebody got hit. Both airbags went off. My lunch was ruined. My Mountain Dew got splattered all over the windshield. And I went into a ditch. The truck driver had to pull me out. He was a gravedigger. So not only did his truck get ruined, but his trailer got ruined. And even if he were to rent a truck, how many can haul a backhoe? So that was something he needed for work. And the only person who had any injuries that whole day, it was a lady who was texting. She got hit in the arm pretty bad. Had to be taken away in an ambulance. But, yeah, so car was totaled. Both airbags went off. I was terrified. And we were supposed to help a family member move in that car a week later. And that sucked, man. Had to rent a car, and it was just more aggravation that was unneeded, And you know what the fuckest thing about the whole mess was? Is the lady who was texting lived on that road. I drove past her house later that day. She could have waited 60 seconds and she would have been checking her phone in her driveway. And she could have saved all this unnecessary anguish and stress and headache. But man, that was just... Okay, so the moral of the story here is do not text and drive. I was behind the lady, and I was a victim. I mean, this isn't me with a victim mentality going like, oh, look at how miserable I am. No. I was actually a victim. I could have been killed. Like, I was told that if I had driven the truck that day and I'd been hit in the truck, it would have killed me. Because there are no airbags. And also, older vehicles, they don't have crumple zones like newer vehicles do. So, in this case, the Oldsmobile, like, the crumpling stopped at the windshield. And if it had been the Dodge, probably would have been an accordion all the way to the bed of the truck. Man, it just... Stephen LaPierre says, sue for all damages incurred. I want to. Been thinking about getting a contingency lawyer in order, but at this point, we're just kind of waiting on insurance to see what happens. Because here's the thing, I wasn't injured at all. Not a scratch on me. If I were injured, it would have been an easy case, but anyway. Anyway, Stephen LaPierre. Hi, I'm Stephen. I comment on live streams. Bang, bang! Anyway. Okay, getting back to these comments while I'm here. Loisa Smith, I love your concert stories video. I'm a grown man. I have to eat to survive. Okay, so you're talking about that former friend of mine who was talking to another former friend of mine. For those who hadn't seen the video, okay, what I'm talking about, this person I used to know, his band was opening for Obituary, okay? And the way that show worked was the promoter gave that band tickets to sell for the show, and they could keep $2 of the sale. That was going to be how they got paid. Well, this guy went to a friend of his to try to sell a ticket, and the guy was like, oh, well, I'm just going to try to have Ken put me on the guest list. So they got in a bit of an argument over it, and yeah. He was like, oh, well, Ken let me into the last 3 or 4 Obituary shows. The guitar player was like, yeah, exactly. So this time, buy a goddamn ticket. Yeah, I haven't talked to either of them in years, so they're... But anyway. May Credible. Are there fines for texting and driving in the USA? Yes, there are. That doesn't deter people. Like, here's the thing. You can say that you'll be fined for anything in the world, and it's not going to stop people from doing it. For instance, if you put a no littering sign on your road, all that's going to do is make people litter more. That's how that works. Trust me. I have a major littering problem on my road, and I don't even know how to fix it. I mean, if you put a sign up there, you're just basically throwing your money away. Jamie Splendid, pay to play, yikes. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, they were just, I don't know. It was a decent payday for them because they were opening for Obituary, I guess. Layla Lover 90, glad to catch you live, you rock. Thank you so much. Parson Mold 567, that also happened to me with my dad and his 72 Mustang, and a girl like 20 years old ran the red light and she hit us. We were okay, but the Mustang had to be sold because it was $20,000 to fix the entire thing. Exactly. And what insurance is saying is that that car, the 2002 Oldsmobile, since it's brown, I think the value that they estimated it at was $1,200. But same car, same model, same year, same everything. In purple, it was $7,200. So we're over here like, wait a minute, how come there's a big price difference between the two? Give us the $7,200, you cheap fuck. This lady had minimal insurance that was designed for people who can't afford insurance. That only tells me that maybe she has a lot of tickets and a bad driving record. I don't know, man. It was a mess. It left a real pile of shit in everybody's lap, you know? Like... Yeah, bottom line, please don't text and drive. Ever. Why do chicken coops only have 2 doors? Because if they had 4 doors, they would be chicken sedans. Loisa Smith, you're so funny, I bet you drive the ladies crazy. I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one. Anyway, but yeah, so that happened. Then I went to help a family member move and had some issues with that. That was the worst move I ever took part in. Okay, we were moving from Cleveland over to Boston, and they had so much goddamn stuff. It was a 26-foot Penske truck that we had rented, and it took forever. Excuse me. Took forever to load. Took forever to unload. The driveway in Boston was real narrow. And of course, moving is never fun, but it's usually easier when you're dealing with people who are nice to you and courteous and listen to your ideas and consider you. But that unfortunately didn't happen either. It's one thing to work hard and be appreciated, and then it's another to work hard and then just be shit on. So I'm not going to be doing that ever again. I've helped a lot of people move in the last 12 years, and it's something I'm good at. I'm good at lifting. I have high energy. I plow through it. I love helping people move. That's why people call me all the time. Friends, family, friends of friends, it doesn't matter. People call me. They're like, hey, we need an extra hand to help move. Well, there you go. But, yeah, and then to make things worse, I ended up falling down the stairs on the day that I was supposed to leave. Still got the bruise right here, which I don't know if you can see that, but a few days ago, this was horrible. Absolutely horrible. But, yeah, I wasn't even horseplaying or anything. I was out of bed maybe 5 minutes. And I was walking down the stairs, and I was wearing socks, and I just slipped. Hit the back of my head pretty hard, and I guess my arm caught most of the fall. Man, that sucked. And it was a long-ass drive back home, too, man. That really sucked. But, I'm feeling better now. Thankfully, it wasn't a concussion. That's what I was scared of, because we had a 9-hour drive to get home. I don't remember how fucking long it was, but it was a really long drive, and obviously, I couldn't drive part of the way there. I drove the way back, though, and it was nice. But yeah, I figured while I was in Boston, it's like, hey, Seth is buried 10 minutes away from where we're moving to, so why don't I do a video on that? So, yeah, that was cool, and it was kind of hard to get to the grave because Google Maps took me to a different location than the cemetery actually was. It took me to where they were building construction or something on the other side of the cemetery. And it took a little bit to find the cemetery, but yeah, so Seth Putnam. Yeah, Seth Putnam's grave. I couldn't believe it. They actually had AxCx on the gravestone. That was funny. Okay. So, yeah, could you imagine how many people were walking past, they happen to see that gravestone, and they're like, I wonder what AxCx means. Okay, think about this. Seth Putnam was 43 years old when he died. He lived a hard life. He wasn't the most overweight person in the world either, so you gotta think, the amount of drugs that he's done, and the amount of things that he's done, man, he lived a hard life. Okay, he was already in a coma in the mid-2000s for basically an overdose / possible suicide attempt, inconclusive knowledge. But, yeah, so, and also, the guitar player, Josh Martin, I feel like once he joined the band, him and Seth were basically trying to outdo each other with how offensive and horrible and mean-spirited they could be, and how much they could out-party everybody else. There are so many stories of him basically just, blowing off shows, big shows, just to score drugs, or, he would get a record advance from Earache to record an album. They'd give him $5,000, $8,000, and then he would pocket most of it or blow it all on drugs, and then he would tell the band, oh yeah, Earache's being a bunch of dicks, we have to record an album with $500, and then they'd record the album in his mom's basement. Okay, so I realize as I'm retelling this story, he sounds amusing by legend and by reading about him on the internet. I am sure that if you actually knew him and actually dealt with him, it would be a much different story. Because there were so many people in the grindcore scene who just couldn't stand the guy. And I'm sure his close friends will all say, oh yeah, all that offensive stuff, it was just an act. He was really sensitive in real life. Seth was a sensitive man. He listened to a lot of Cure, Smiths, and Depeche Mode. It's hard to tell. Now, one thing that I did hear over and over was that it seemed to be more of an act early in his career, and then as his life went on, it became less of an act and more of who he was. I don't know. I mean, part of the intensity of that band is the authenticity of it, I guess. You know, like, they would sing about this horrible shit, and some of it they actually believed. Hopefully not all of it. God, I hope not all of it. But there's a really good podcast that I listened to recently called The Kings of Punk. They have a podcast on Spotify. They did an episode on AC. And I got tons of great information about Seth and the music scene in Boston. Seth was in Siege for a little bit. And apparently the side project, Vaginal Jesus, supposedly had 2 members of Siege. What? Siege was in that? And on top of that, more trivia on top of trivia, Vaginal Jesus apparently wasn't even a band that existed. It was like one of the fake bands that Seth came up with just to shock and offend people, and then they just recorded basement demos. I don't know. So many things about Seth and his life. Like, when you look at his music and his side projects, it makes more sense when you know about the Boston scene and how he was in real life. First of all, back in the 80s, if you were going to punk shows and you had long hair, you were basically asking to get your ass kicked. Well, he had long hair and he was going to punk shows, but he was also going in a full-on disco outfit, okay? So he was looking like John Travolta with long hair going to punk shows, and he's getting in fights all the time before AC was even a thing. And he had this zine where he would come up with these ridiculously offensive and over-the-top band names, and he would do interviews for them, but they were actually fake interviews because the bands didn't even exist. And that's what he did. He made a zine based on that. He'd be like, oh yeah, I interviewed this band so extreme that they killed each other before this interview was out. And people would be like, man, there's no way this band is real. Yeah, they are real. I interviewed them. And that's how he came up with the name AC, was by coming up with these stupid band names. And I'd also heard stories about how, you know, he would ask other bands if he could borrow their van, and then he would go out, score some drugs, crash the van, and then basically leave the bands with the bill. So, just in case anybody's wondering if the video is a mockery or a tribute to Seth, it's a bit of both, to be honest with you. Like, here's what I was thinking going into it, okay? I was thinking that I should do this video the way Seth would have wanted me to do it. Okay? So, like, for instance, I went to visit Dave Brocky earlier this year. My hero. I left a rose for him. Peter Steele, I just sat there feeling kind of heartbroken. Didn't take any smiley or goofy pictures with him because, you know, that's not really my thing. That's not appropriate to do at a grave. But at Seth Putnam's grave, he was a big, giant edgelord troll. He would have wanted you to piss on that grave and fucking dance all over it. Now, I wasn't going to go that far. The furthest I was going to go was just be like, but there you go. You know what I mean? Okay, let me get back to these comments a little bit. Grim reviews. What does AC even mean? Oh, I see what you're doing. See, Instagram took down my comment responding to that. by saying that it was hate speech. Come on now. Vic Eddie, I loved the Seth Putnam video. Well, that's good. Thank you so much. Quads music taste. Killbot, glad to see you live. What's your favorite non-metal albums, and do you like my favorite band, Linkin Park? I don't. Love your content. Sorry you had to go through all that with the crash. That's fine. Life goes on, you know. Favorite non-metal album. Bad Brains' first album's up there. The Downward Spiral by Nine Inch Nails. Skinny Puppy, Last Rites. Cure's Disintegration. You know, if I look around this room enough, I'm going to find things that I like that aren't metal. So, yeah. CyberianTiger. Hey, another guy on my Patreon. How you doing, man? I heard he was also pretty intelligent and just wanted to make people laugh. He was intelligent. Like, the thing about Anal Cunt is he had wit, for the most part. That last album they did, Wearing Out Our Welcome, there was no wit. That album sucked. It was just offensive and slurs and names being called just for the sake of being assholes. But at least earlier, you know, there were jokes. There was a setup and a punchline. You know what I mean? Like, not much of one, but at least there was wit involved. When they're talking about a certain genocidal maniac being a sensitive man, you know, they end that song with, if he were alive today, he would listen to bands like The Cure, The Smiths, and Depeche Mode. None of that was on the last album. He was just far gone by drugs. Drugs will make you do some crazy shit, man. But I'll tell you what, the song they did, 311 Sucks. It is the dumbest, stupidest damn thing I ever heard, and it's amazing. You know what I mean? Foxker, I wonder, he did guest vocals on Pantera's Treadmill. That must have been a time. Yep, sure did. For those who are unaware, Seth, and cool thing is, a lot of people have researched who he was based on me doing this video. You probably have already heard him. He did backup vocals on the songs The Great Southern Trendkill, War Nerve, 13 Steps to Nowhere, and Suicide Note Part 2 on Pantera's Great Southern Trendkill. Yep, that is true. Those two were friends. Vic Eddie, my friend's girlfriend loves Gigi and Seth Putnam. Yeah, well, hopefully she likes the Mentors too. I'm more of a fan of the Mentors than either of those bands, but that's just me. And you know, you might be thinking, based on some of the things that I've said about Seth and their music, why would somebody be into music like this? If you know how they are in real life, and if the music itself is also ugly. Something the Kings of Punk podcast talked about, which I found appealing, was that sometimes the weirder the person making the music is, the more interesting the music is. So, it's like you're seeing the ugly side of humanity manifest itself in the form of music. For instance, you know that Charles Manson is a monster, well, was a monster, but he made an album. So you gotta think, okay, so what kind of music does a mass murderer create? And you listen to the music and you're like, okay, so this is the music, this is what somebody like Charles Manson would make. Same thing with Burzum, Varg. You know that Varg is a piece of shit, but you listen to his music because you're like, so this is what somebody like Varg with his values and his crimes can make. And same thing with Seth, you know, it's like you live a life like Seth lived, and that was the kind of music that he made. And in a way, AC were ahead of their time. Because, you know, other than Unseen Terror in the UK, there weren't many 2-piece and 3-piece grind bands in the United States. You know, they had a minimal approach to grindcore before anybody else in the States were. You know, they had a drummer, and they had Seth, who occasionally played guitar, and they occasionally did it as a 2-piece, but often they did it as a 3-piece. They had a guy playing a combo amp on stage for guitar, they had a drummer, and then they had Seth going, and that was it. That was their minimalist approach, you know. Fun with O. Hey, Tony, how are you today? Doing decent. Just wish the live stream was in horizontal and not vertical. Hopefully YouTube fixed that by the next update. Life and Liberty. Would you ever go to Gigi Allen's grave? I don't even know where that is. Where is it? I want to go to Los Angeles later this year because Skinny Puppy are doing their final shows. And at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, Roz Williams of Christian Death is buried there. Mel Blanc, voice of Bugs Bunny, and many other Looney Tunes cartoons, he's buried there. 2 Ramones are buried there. Gidget Gein of Marilyn Manson, he's buried there. And Judy Garland's buried there, which I think I would visit that just to show my mom. I don't know. Chris, hey, how you doing, Chris? Hey, it's okay that you're late, as long as you're here, bud. Let's see, Vic Eddy, Killbot, review Nausea Extinction. I could do that. I don't even own all of Nausea's stuff. Like, I own the Extinction Second Coming CD, which has the album and the 7 inches that they released afterwards. But if you get the Punk Terrorist Anthology CDs, those have some of the demos as well. So maybe I can do it. I hadn't listened to Nausea in a long time. You know, it's part of the reason I've been wanting to do an updated favorite albums video for a while, is because there are a couple of those albums that I just barely listen to now. Like, I think among that list was Disrupt Unrest, which, to be perfectly honest with you, I hadn't even heard since the year I did that video. So, obviously not a favorite album anymore, but I would naturally have to update it to albums I do listen to religiously, you know, like Slaughter in the Vatican, Dead Again, World Coming Down, Fragile, Hardwired, albums like that. Cure's Disintegration. You hope that last comment wasn't too crazy. Hey, this is a Killbot stream. You can't get too crazy on here. Okay, so we're going to do our Rob Halford impression since it's Halford's birthday today. It's the Metal God's birthday. Yeah. Yep, this is the little outfit that I was wearing for the Visiting Seth Putnam's Grave is Gay video. Yeah. So, fun little story for you, which I probably shouldn't even be telling, but I'm going to anyway. A few years ago, I dressed up like this, and I took a picture and I sent it to a lady that I was talking to. Not romantically at all, but I sent it to her as a joke. I said, "What's a man gotta do to buy you a drink?" Because this obviously looks not heterosexual, right? Well, her boyfriend saw the message and he got pissed off at me. I was like, hey, it was just a joke. It was just a joke, I swear. It was just a joke. And eventually I was forgiven for that. But, you know, I do understand it from his point of view. He probably saw it and was like, oh, some guy flirting with my girl, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. I promise it's not what it was. But on the other hand, I look like Rob Halford from the Turbo Lover video. So, there you go. How many of you want to see my Rob Halford impression? Tell you what, give me a super chat and I'll give you a Rob Halford impression. How about that? Doesn't have to be much. Stream 47. Hey, how you doing, man? You're always in these streams now. Interesting fact, both Danzig and Manson grew up on the same street in Cincinnati 30 years ago. That was a rough neighborhood. I'll bet. Psychosocial, what are some of your favorite goth songs and albums? I feel like I have favorite bands rather than I have favorite songs and albums. Let's see, the first 2 Faith in the Muse albums are pretty amazing. Christian Death's first album's pretty amazing. I really love the first Switchblade Symphony album and their live album. I really love Fields of the Nephilim. Love Fields of the Nephilim. There's a band that I've been listening to called Cabaret Nocturne. They don't release albums. They just basically release singles every once in a while. And it's got a nice groove to it, you know what I mean? Actually, as far as goth stuff, I watched a movie pretty recently, and I don't even know how I was told about this movie. It might have been one of Angela's videos. Gypsy 83. Movie from 2001, independent movie. And it's about these two goths who are traveling from Ohio to New York to go to a Stevie Nicks contest, I guess. Stevie Nicks impersonators. And we got a super chat. Okay, $10 super chat from CyberianTiger. Thank you so much. That means you're going to hear my Halford impression. Okay, so let me turn this microphone down a little bit so that your ears can heal a bit. Okay, turn this down. Are you high? Are you high? I will take you higher. Happy birthday, Rob. You rule. Okay, so I don't know if I posted this anywhere, but like in the behind the scenes videos that may have been temporary for the Dame of Darkness music video, as I'm setting up the video, I do that. It's funny. Anyway. So yeah. So what was I talking about? I was talking about Gypsy 83. Oh yeah, so they were traveling from Ohio to New York to go to the Stevie Nicks impersonator competition. And like in the movie, it takes them like 3 days to get there. But the thing is, where they were from, Sandusky, Ohio, which is like 50 miles away from Cleveland, to New York, I got to thinking, wait a minute, why is it taking them so damn long to get to New York? I just took that trip, probably on that same highway. It would not have taken them that damn long to get from Ohio to New York. And it turns out I was right. I went on GPS, and it would have taken them 8 hours with tolls to get from Sandusky to Manhattan. Without tolls, it would have taken them 10 hours, but I mean, I guess they had to pad it a little bit just to make it more of a movie, add some more adventure. But admittedly, there wasn't much adventure that they added. Because the highways in the movie, they were just like the highways there now. There's nothing on them. I just took that trip. I took 9 hours from Cleveland over to Boston. And you know, like on that same highway, if you take a little bit of a detour, you can get to New York City pretty easily. But yeah, that was just a weird continuity error, and they seem to have spent a lot of time at rest stops and little rest stations. I guess they just didn't have the budget or the imagination to do much else. You know, this is one of those movies that I wouldn't mind seeing remade. And I don't say that very often about movies. There are two movies that now that I could say I want to see remade. That one and Times Square from 1981, I think. The one with Tim Curry. In that case, I want to see it remade with the original script. You know, make it dark and gritty. Modern audiences can handle it. Little Metalhead 8903. Hey, Killbot, you're actually my favorite YouTuber. Thank you. Thank you so much. A-Man98. Have you got to see the new Metalocalypse movie? Is it out yet? I saw Doomstar Requiem and I thought it sucked. Non-PC NPCs. Do you like SLC Punk 1 and 2? I have the first one. I've never seen the second one. I do like the first one, though. Loisa Smith. I'm the girl who loves Daria and Nine Inch Nails hurt. Very thought-provoking. Type of negative. I don't want to be... Well, that's cool. Fun with O. What's your favorite guitar tuning? Typically, I like to tune to B, but if I'm playing on the baritone, I like to do C. That is the tuning that Caius and Queens of the Stone Age have been using, which is very nice. Yeah, speaking of Queens of the Stone Age, of all the horrible things that have been going on lately, on top of being ghosted by at least one friend, which I may or may not get to, I don't know, don't want to talk too personal, but yeah, all the horrible things going on, I wanted something to go right finally, so I had tickets to see Queens of the Stone Age in Raleigh. Well, they were calling for thunderstorms the day of the show. We knew this early. We knew this early, and we were contacting the venue like, hey, so, what's going to happen with the thunderstorm tonight? They're like, oh, we're going to keep watch. We're going to update you every 30 minutes on it. Well, a lot of people showed up, including myself, because they were just decking us around. They didn't tell us if they were going to cancel it, postpone it, delay it, whatever. Like, what ended up happening, the doors were originally supposed to open at 6:30. And they delayed the doors opening, and finally by 8 o'clock, we're all sitting around thinking, well, maybe they're just going to cut the opening bands and it's just going to be Queens. Fine by us. Queens is the only one I want to see anyway. Well, finally, around 8 o'clock, they said, oh yeah, we're postponing the show now. Haha. Really? Why didn't you do it earlier? Like, I'm not even mad that they postponed it. I'm mad that they dicked us around about it. Because that was, a lot of people were looking forward to it, but also a lot of people drove out from all over North Carolina to come see the show. In my case, I live an hour away from Raleigh. A lot of people who were traveling were coming from 2 and 3 hours away. I can't imagine driving that far somewhere only to be fucking blue-balled like that, That sucked. Yeah, so they're gonna reschedule the show. They haven't said when yet, but yeah. Killbot, have you watched the movie Over the Edge from 1980? I've been told about it. I haven't seen it though. Actually, somebody who the person who told me about that movie, I hadn't heard from in quite a while. I miss them. But anyway. Yeah, so. Yeah, so among the things that had happened on this drive from Cleveland to Boston, I noticed that New York had something I'd never seen before. They had tech stops. They're just like rest stops. Basically, all they are, they're little driveways, I guess, that you can pull off the main highway. Little driveways that you can text. And they have signs that say text stop 5 miles away. I guess the initiative was that they wanted to eliminate distracted driving. But at this point, it's like, man, you gotta think, texting and driving has become such a big problem that New York State decided that they wanted to put text stops to stop people from texting and driving. That's where we are at in society. People are addicted to their cell phones. And at that point, it's like, man, is it really that important? But I guess it is. I mean, I'd like to see the data. I haven't seen any charts or data that say that crashes have gone down or anything, but this isn't a new thing. Apparently, they started doing this in 2013. But it was just interesting to me because I'd never seen it anywhere else, so whatever. Skull Crusher. Killbot, are you a God Dethroned fan? I hadn't heard them in a long time. Fun with O. What guitar pedals do you use? I don't use many, but I use the NS2 noise suppressor, which affects the tone, unfortunately. I gotta get something else. The Boss HM2, because I'm a big Entombed fan. I will sometimes use the Ibanez Weeping Demon, because that is the most versatile wah pedal you can get. And it'll work for guitar and bass. Okay, yeah. Colonel H. Stinkmeaner. Cars will read a text message for you with a hands-free mode. Yep. Newer cars will, yeah. E-shifting. I think that's how I'm saying it right. Any plans to put your music on tape on Bandcamp? Would love to have your music as a physical release. I would love to do that someday. I'm going to have to look into the manufacturing costs as far as the tapes are concerned. The tapes I can probably sell on my own with no problem. CDs and vinyl, a label's going to have to be involved in that, which I know a guy now who is supposedly going to be starting a label after Halloween, I guess. And we've mentioned a couple times maybe putting the music out. I will say this, though. If Tales from the Tube ends up on CD, Visiting Seth Putnam's Grave is Gay is going to be on the CD. Along with the new track that I will hopefully have finished by then. See, the thing about doom metal, it's not like grindcore where you can make it in a day. Doom metal, you have to agonize over it for a bit because all the parts have to work together. So, yeah. Limerence. I'm refraining from listening to Swallow the Sun while making this because I don't want to be too influenced by Swallow the Sun. I love Swallow the Sun to death. But, it's one of those things where if you listen to a band too much, they can accidentally sound a lot like the music you're making. So that's something that I want to avoid. CyberianTiger. I looked up CD printing. I think it was $1,000 depending on the manufacturer. What, for 100 of them? Red 426. Have you given any thought about starting an actual band with other people? I'd love to do that. If it were easy. And we got a super chat from Mavericksha. $2. Thank you so much. Hey, Kobot, seeing how you're doing, man. You rock. Hopefully doing better. Hopefully doing better soon because things have not been too good. Things have not been too good. And I'm trying to bounce back, trying to plow through. And, yeah, still got exciting things coming up. I'm still going to Portland next month to go see Alec. That's going to be their first United States show in 8 years. That's going to be really nice. And if anybody is in Portland who wants to say hello, maybe we can arrange something. Actually, I'm thinking about doing a live stream every Friday of September, if possible. Bring back September Metal Fridays like I was doing last year. That'd be pretty cool. And hopefully the next live stream it's going to be horizontal. Not like this. I know a lot of you are seeing this and you're all like, oh, this is frustrating. I know. I'm frustrated too. Oh, so how many of you follow Decibel Magazine and their social media pages? Because they released a book on Obituary some time ago, and they are teasing that they're releasing another book. Now, among the hashtags for this post, Lunatic of God's Creation. Uh-oh, are they coming up with a Deicide book? Yeah! Man, I love me some Deicide. Here's the thing, a lot of people, they're like, oh, well, Deicide stopped being good after the Hoffman brothers were fired and left. Dude, the new stuff is really good. Like, seriously, give the last 2 albums a chance. They're really good albums. Like, they may not be as intense as the old stuff, but the songwriting's really well done. The only Deicide albums I don't like are some of the later Earache stuff, and that's it. And you know what? In Torment and Hell sucked too. Like, people romanticize the Hoffman era, but the thing is, they kind of started sucking before the Hoffmans left. In Torment and Hell, Incinerate Him, those were not great albums. Scars of the Crucifix was a good album, I think. But, as it was proven in a almost lawsuit, Glenn and Steve wrote most of that album. The Hoffmans barely wrote anything on it, so I don't know. I don't care. I just want to hear good music, okay? Andrew Gabriel, if you don't like Deicide, you don't like death metal. Period. Ricky, Killbot, have you heard of a one-man death thrash band called Necrokinesis? Nope, can't say I have. Vic Eddie, you are truly loved by your fans, Killbot, just so you know. Thank you. Thank you so much. Emil 30, Misfits or Ramones? The Ramones, because they're pretty much the soundtrack to my life. So, do you ever think that aliens have BDSM? Like maybe some intergalactic orgies? Maybe they have UFO parties. You know how we Earthlings, we have key parties? Those are where you put all your car keys in a bowl and, at the end of the night, whoever's keys you draw from the bowl, that's who you end up sleeping with. Well, maybe they have those for UFOs. Whoever gets the remote for my UFO gets to go to my cryogenic pod with me. maybe there's ray gun play. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah, so Ghoul just announced a show. They're going to play Asheville in October. That'll be their first time coming to North Carolina since 2017, and I'm excited. So, hopefully I can get the truck up and running by then, and the gasoline's going to cost a fortune, but you know what? Fuck it, it's Ghoul. I love Ghoul. I would love to see them. They're playing, Municipal Waste is playing, and I can't remember who else is playing, but hey, live for metal, die for Ghoul. It's really hard to beat a live Ghoul show, you know? Like, the albums are great, but they don't even compare to actually seeing them. It's kind of like seeing Gwar, except that Ghoul is a little more directly thrash metal, while Gwar is more definitive, I guess. Like, nobody sounds like Gwar. Andrew Gabriel, do you like any Peaceville Doom, like Paradise Lost or My Dying Bride? Yes, I do. In fact, I have Peaceville's book, if I can find it. There it is. Yep. Basically, anything old Peaceville is a seal of quality, okay? I'm a giant Autopsy fan. Of course, there's Opeth, there's Catatonia, there's Anathema, there's Dark Throne. I'm basically just reading off the list on the back, but yeah, anything for Peaceville life. And this is the one before he updated it, but yeah, My Dying Bride, man. The thing about My Dying Bride and Opeth, though, is they hate ending songs. All their songs are 8, 9, 10 minutes long, and it's like, I love listening to it, but you kind of have to make time for it also. Paul Waters says, I got big balls, but we've got the biggest balls of the ball. Big is asking if I'm going to see Skinny Puppy on the second leg of their final tour. I'm going to try to make it out to Los Angeles in December just to do that. I've already seen them 4 times, but I will gladly see them 3 more. Because they know that I'm going to buy a bunch of t-shirts. So, yeah, that's going to be really nice. I definitely want to be there for the end. Just one of the greatest bands of all time, you know? Just the music's well written, the fucking songwriting's excellent. The concepts are excellent. All the albums sound different from each other. Just so good. Okay, so we're going to talk about some Swans, shall we? How many Swan fans in the house? Talking Michael Girard. Swans. I've been trying to get more into them lately. A couple years ago, I got Great Annihilator on CD. This is the 2002 remaster. And, yeah, I really like Great Annihilator, so I decided to go backwards and see if I could get some of the rest of their albums. What did I just put away? Okay, this one. Yeah, so, all you CD collectors out there, and all you music collectors in general out there, if you want to make your head hurt, try collecting the Swans. Swans anything. Almost all of their albums have some alternate version, or remastered version, or edited version of some sort. They're a pain in the ass to collect. Okay? Like, let's see, what can I say? Okay, so basically, like, Michael sometimes re-edits the songs. Like, he'll cut radio edits or shorter edits of the songs just so that way they'll fit on one CD if the album's really long or if he's adding bonus tracks. Or if he's trying to fit the music to vinyl. For instance, this one, like, the fade-outs are different on each version of this album, okay? And also on the 2017 remix, it's like he messed up the sound on some of the songs. Let's see, we got Love of Life and White Light from the Mouth of Infinity. These two were released together a couple of years ago, and apparently they used the shorter edits on this album. So it's like, fuck, man, now you gotta get the original. And some of these albums are hard to find now. This was pressed in 2015, but this took some doing to find it, man. This is the Phil 3 CD version, which makes Godflesh sound tonal. And when Godflesh sounds tonal by comparison of anything, that's how you know it's brutal. Got Children of God, which I just listened to yesterday and enjoyed it. Public castration is a good idea. This one cost me. Worth it. And then we got this one, Cop, Young God, Greed, and Holy Money. It's missing 4 songs. But, you know, they pretty much maxed out both CDs at like 79 minutes, so... And also, I don't think he owns the rights to those recordings. So, if he ever re-releases them, he's going to have to do like a 3-disc version if he wants them to be complete, which he probably doesn't give a shit. I don't know, Swans fans care more than he does, I think. I mean, it's good music, it's just one of those things where like, fuck, why do there have to be a million versions of everything? It's so much easier when there are 1 or 2, and then you can decide. Easier, you know? Like, oh, should I get the remastered version or should I get the original? You know, just 2 choices. That's all you need. Foxford, good luck finding those 4 albums separately. And they have pressed them on CD. But, man, those things are expensive as fuck. I think I paid like $25 for that one. Big, have you listened to any of the new Swans albums? No, I'm basically focusing on the original run because I've heard mixed things about the new stuff. So I want to focus on the original run first before I get to the new stuff. I do know that once Jarbo joined the band, they basically took a different turn. I predict that it's probably like Paul Barker with Ministry. Once he joined the band, it took a different turn and arguably became better. And once he left the band, they kind of went to shit. So, there you go. Zoofagus, are you going to be seeing Cannibal Corpse and Mayhem in September? No, because I'm going to be in Portland seeing Agalok. Andrew Gabriel, thoughts on Cyanide? Never heard of him. William Cantrell, hey, how you doing, man? Chris, hate to say I'm going, but we'll talk later tonight. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for joining in, Chris. We will talk later. Oh, yeah. So many good things. So have y'all been keeping up with Lords of Acid lately? They got a new singer. Her name is Gigi. I'm simping hard for her. God damn. Total babe. And she's got a pretty good voice, too, from the little clips that I've seen. So, that's going to be nice. They're supposed to be doing a tour in the United States sometime around March or April. Hopefully North Carolina is among those stops. Because I would love to see them a 3rd time. I saw them when Mia was singing. I saw them when Marika was singing. And, like... It's like the set list was better when Marika was with them, but I liked the first show better with Mia because the energy was better. I think Mia was also just a better stage person. Marika just seemed kind of shy. I don't know. But Mia, she was like fucking spinning around and jumping around and stomping on water bottles and shit. Like that's what you need in a live show. You need wild and crazy. Meal 30. Do you listen to Children of Bodom? I've heard their early stuff. Man. Okay, we're about 78 minutes in, so I guess I should just call it in about 10 minutes. Maybe drink a Mountain Dew, go eat something. But we're enjoying ourselves here, so keep your questions coming, because I am here. Time! This is our sin! What is this? Your hair is so fluffy and beautiful. You're a bit... Thank you. Thank you for quoting an Esh. Trevin Davis, hey, what's up? Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. But, yeah, so a friend of mine that I met up with in Cleveland, he had... the weekend that we were meeting up, he had a wedding to go to, and he had 2 birthday parties to go to back to back. And fortunately, I messaged him at the right time while he was planning all of this, because he was over there like, man, how am I going to meet up with him with all this stuff going on? Well, fortunately, he went through the mental gymnastics and found time to meet up. We had dinner, we sat at a restaurant for a couple hours, just eating nachos and cheese fries and just enjoying ourselves, man. This was the guy that I had met last year at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when 9 Inch Nails was doing their fan day, and he gave me his extra ticket for the show. I already had a ticket, but he wanted a ticket closer to the stage, so he gave me his other one that was under the Coliseum. You know, like the rain part. And, yeah, unfortunately I never got to thank him in person for that, but this was my chance of thanking him in person for that. I got him dinner. And we just talked for a couple of hours. It was nice. We were talking about the Dead Boys mostly because I kept forgetting that the Dead Boys were from Cleveland. So it was cool. You know, I got to hear all kinds of cool stories about Stiv and the Damned and Lords of the New Church and the documentary they made a couple of years ago. Excuse me. But, yeah, that was pretty cool. As opposed to another friend of mine who may not even be a friend of mine anymore. We had known each other for years. I was helping them through a separation and then a death earlier this year. Helped them through that, comforted them, fucking FaceTimed them, phone called them, all that mess. And I'd called a month ahead of time and I was like, hey, listen, I'm helping somebody move out of Cleveland. So, you know, if we're going to hang out, then this might be our last chance for years that we'll have a good chance to do so. So, you know, I don't care what it is. If you don't have time, we can do like a coffee break. We can do a lunch break. We can just walk around for 10 minutes. It doesn't matter. I just want to see you. And they just fucking decked me around every day. I texted them every day. Hey, if we're going to do something, we should do it. Oh, well, we'll see. Next day. Hey, if we should do something, we should do it. Oh, I don't know. I got to work till 10 today. Okay. And some days I'd text and not even hear back. Finally, one day I was like, hey, so the window is about to close. I think tonight or tomorrow is going to be our last chance to do anything. Oh, well, I'm just going to go AWOL and not be around people or friends or things for a while. I'm like, okay, I love you and I'm here for you if you need me. And that was the last I'd heard from them. And then I go on Instagram and I saw they unfollowed me from Instagram. I was like, really? I mean, if you don't want to be friends anymore, that's fine. That sucks, but, you know, it's a shame you feel that way because, you know, we've been through so much and I helped comfort you through all that stuff. And it's like, fuck, that's a pretty shitty payback. You know what I mean? And somebody had told me recently that when you help people through traumatic stuff like that, sometimes they see you and they think of the traumatic stuff that you helped them through. I never thought about it that way, but I guess that makes sense sometimes. You know? I mean, the best thing that you can do is just move on, you know, wish them well, and, you know, just move on with your life, because at the end of the day, only you can make yourself happy. You know, it is better when you have friends and family who love you. And that's all I was trying to be. You know, was somebody who showed love and was willing to receive love, and it unfortunately didn't pan out that way. I, of course, wish them the best. No harm coming their way, but, you know, sometimes it sucks that it turns out that way, because, like, it doesn't matter sometimes. You might know in this case, I had known this person since 2016. And, you know, sometimes that happens. You know somebody for 6 years, 10 years, 20 years, and they'll just drop you like that, man. Often without explanation. You know, the thing you should take away from this is your social life will always fluctuate. And it sucks, but hey, you just gotta move on. Roll with the punches, you know? Because there do exist good people out there, good loyal people. You just have to work hard to find them. You know, it's more of a thing of quality over quantity. Some people want a lot of friends. I don't care about having a lot of friends. I just want to have a few really good ones. You know what I mean? Megan Raquel, gotta go, see you later. Hey, thank you so much for joining. Perhaps you'll see me on Instagram at some point. Glorbus of glittery girliness. Say that 3 times fast. Glorbus of glittery girliness. Glorbus of glittery... I can't. Sorry that you went through that. It always hurts to lose a friend. It does, but... You know, there's not really much you can do about it. If they don't want to continue it, they don't want to continue it, period. Denisha, hey, how you doing? You know, your profile picture disappeared on Instagram. Uh-oh, where did Denisha go? Let's see. Follow Ty. Went to see Monomarth and Ghost. Was not really impressed with Ghost, but I'm getting back to the typo negative October Ross, so that's good. I saw Ghost when Papa 3 was still the singer, and they did amazing. I'm not sure how the shows are different now, but I will tell you that when I saw them back in 2017, incredible. Incredible time. Beautiful music. The whole audience was just totally enjoying themselves. Eliza Smith. Cobot, what do you think of me? Come on now. I mean, here's the thing. If anybody sees me at a show, you're more than welcome to say hello. You know, and usually I carry a couple of these stickers on me just to hand out for people who say hi. You know, just as a thank you for having the balls to come up and say hello. I'm a social person. I love people. Like the stream if you are loved. I am loved. Andrew Gabriel, are you a fan of the old Razorback catalog? Yes, I am. I love Mashitazo and Mortician. There's a reason that memes are being made about them. Rep 426, do you prefer live shows with a huge stage performance or with minimalism and total focus on the music? Honestly, I'm a fan of both, and often I find the best shows are kind of a mix of the two. Like, Guar, I think, is the best live band you'll ever see. 9 Inch Nails is also the best band you'll ever see. 9 Inch Nails, like, they have lights mainly as their show, but, like, it's minimal. Minimal amount of lights. They don't need much to do a lot. With 9 Inch Nails, it's more about the atmosphere and the intensity. With Guar, it's a full-on theatrical production. And I am absolutely a fan of both types. There are purists who are going to say, oh, well, all you need to put on a great show is a stack of Marshalls and just play good music. Yeah, that's good. But sometimes that's not enough, because a lot of times, not many bands can pull that off without being fucking boring. Okay, they just stand still, they have no stage presence whatsoever. You know, a lot of people talk to me about local shows and going to see local bands, and the way I like to see it is, I'm going to wait till I hear enough about these bands before I go see them, because I don't want to waste my time watching bad bands. That might sound elitist or snobby or whatever. I don't care, you know, life is too short. If I'm going to focus my energy on bands, I want to focus on bands that are putting in the effort and, you know, who have put in the time to be good. And there are plenty of people who are willing to go give bands a shot. Great. I'll listen to them, and if a band is good enough, I will hear about it, and I will go see them. Tasmanian Metal. Killbot, do you like atmospheric black metal? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Zoofagus, hey, didn't know you were here. Gonna have to go soon, but I'm watching this while on break at work. Well, I'm glad that you decided to stop in, bud. Actually, Alec has a deluxe edition of Pale Folklore that's coming out. And it's already shipping. Yes! So I should be getting it tomorrow or Monday. But it's supposed to be like this vinyl-sized book that has like 56 pages of behind-the-scenes photos and story of making the album. And I guess they're going to go through the entire catalog. That's going to be nice. Because personally, I would love to do a video on Alec. Such a great band. Glorbus of Glitterly Girliness, did you see the Barbie movie? No, I have not, because I'm too old for that shit. I'm also the wrong audience. I'm a 27-year-old man, okay? Like, I hear that they added adult humor for the grown-ups, but I just don't have interest in seeing it. I did see Oppenheimer and loved it. That's a movie that, if you like Chris Nolan's movies, you'll like it. I'm kind of curious about the new Ninja Turtles movie because Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did the soundtrack. That'll be nice. Eric Helmkin, the Barbie movie was kick-ass. It's not for kids at all, in my opinion. Well, that's interesting. I will say this, though. The marketing for the movie is genius. Like, the amount of stuff I've seen. I've never seen so much fucking Barbie stuff in my life. Okay. Anyway, okay, so we got 89 minutes on this stream now, so I guess we should be wrapping this up in the next couple minutes. If anybody has anything they would like to say or ask, now's the time, because I'm getting ready to go eat some pizza. Tasmanian Metal, I'm curious about your thoughts on Panopticon. Never heard of them. A-Man98, at least you're being a grown-up about it, unlike the hundreds of alpha male douchebags who decided to complain about it, even though the movie wasn't for them. Well, here's the thing, like, from what everybody's telling me in the chat here, there probably is something that I can enjoy from the movie. I will admit that. If, like, I currently have no interest in seeing it, but if a friend of mine says, hey, this is funny, you should watch this, I'd be like, all right, fine. But, you know, it's just not, it doesn't really seem like my thing. That's all I'm saying, you know? I'm more into intense, violent movies. So, there you go. That's just my thing. Little Metalhead 8903. One time I saw a video and girl said Rob Zombie is girly pop. Oh, man. Exhumator. Everybody should listen to the band Bond Disneyland. Okay, cool. Lord Metalum. No, Lord Metallium. You going to a grave as a gay man, dude. See, I'm straight, but what I did with that video, Anal Cunt, half of their songs were, you know, this is gay, that's gay. So, you know, this was my literal interpretation of gay, okay? A straight guy out-gayed the entire metal YouTube community gloriously. That video got more views than Garden of Metal in 3 days. Which is a shame, because I thought Garden of Metal was an amazing video. Original idea, batshit insane, on brand with what I do. Absolutely unhinged. It definitely should have gotten more views than it had gotten. Currently, Visiting Seth Putnam's Grave is Gay has 5,000 views. That is awesome. Those are great numbers. I think what helped it also was I uploaded at night rather than at 10 or 11 in the morning, which I find that evening uploads do better than morning uploads. Like, the idea behind morning uploads is, okay, it'll give people more time, they'll have all day to watch the video. But I find that my audience tends to watch videos more, like, in the evening, before or after they have dinner, I guess. Paul Water, maybe do more gay content. Well, admittedly, part of doing that video was also to show that, you know, it was a safe area for that crowd, even if I'm only an ally. So there you go. Benjamin Kovac, speaking of gory movies, what's your favorite one? Evil Dead 2. It's my second favorite movie of all time. Okay, so, anyway, we're at 93 minutes, so may as well call it. Again, I apologize for the vertical orientation. Hopefully the next time it'll be in horizontal like it's supposed to be. But in the meantime, you can show your support for the channel by liking, subscribing, following my social media pages. I have a Patreon. I've got stickers for $2 a piece, and usually I send an extra one just cause. Got patches for $6.66. Free shipping anywhere in the world, made by the same guy who makes patches for Goat Horror and Soylent Green and all those lovely people. And I have shirts, which you can get on Amazon, Etsy, Bandcamp, and through me directly if you have PayPal and an Instagram page. So, it's time for me to go finish up this Cocteau Twins box set. That's what I'm going to do now. It's like 10 discs, and really all of it could have fit on 3. So, yeah, we're going to listen to Liz Fraser's Made Up Language and live in dreamland for a little bit. Just for anyone who's wondering, this is all the singles and EPs up to like 1991. It's glorious. Anyway, so grind on and thank you much. Tune in. Same bat time, same bat channel.